Hey guys, girls, Mr. Brown coming at you on the week of May 11th. This video is going to be for kindergarten, first and second grade. I'm giving you the option this week to switch projects if you want to. So I'm focusing on animals this week. I'm doing snails. That's what we're going to be doing today for my younger students. And I'm going to do a pileated woodpecker for my older students. Now, if you're an older student and you really want to draw a snail, you can do that because I love drawing snails. But you have to add more detail, okay? It can't just be a quick drawing. You can also sculpt the snail or the woodpecker, I guess, if you want to. That would be a lot harder. Snails are pretty easy to sculpt and build out of clay, so I would suggest you do that if you want to. But either way, if you're older, you got to put in a little bit more effort in detail because those things, we need to prove our learning throughout the years in art. So if you show me what a kindergarten is learning, that's awesome, but I know that you can do more for me. Okay, so let's get to our drawing video. Just like the other video, I have to kind of flip my camera around so we can see what I'm drawing. Okay, and I'm going to kind of draw like a cartoony version of a snail, but it also is a pretty realistic version combined with it. So a little bit of silly and a lot of fun. So we're going to first of all start with a diagonal line. And what we're going to do is we're going to build the shell off of here. So what we're going to do is we're going to kind of build like a helmet shape. And you're probably thinking, how do you build a helmet shape? Well, start with a rainbow line, okay? And once you get kind of level, start to kind of curve it in. That's okay. Mine has like a little bit of an angle right here. That's all right. We can always round that out later. And what we're going to do is we are going to draw a dot in the middle of this. We're going to try our best to find it. And then the next step is very important. We're going to draw our spiral starting here and ending here. And we need to do that slowly and carefully. So my rule of thumb is that I don't go too close to the other line and I don't go too far. So what that means is maybe you could like space it out with like a pinky finger. If you're like a kindergartner with really, really, really small fingers, you could do 2 fingers, but for Mr. Brown fingers, that's like too much, right? So depends on what you need as the artist. There we go. That's a good one. And I'll just kind of disguise that little dot I originally made, and I can even keep going a little bit more, right? So there's my shell, okay? And what we're going to do now is we are going to draw the head and the body. Now keep in mind, the farther you go down here, the bigger you're going to have to make your snail, because the snail comes out of this little opening in the shell, right? But they have this ability to kind of like stretch out and contort their body in a way that they can kind of come out of the shell and then like almost like their back is kind of stuck in it, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to make the snail head off to the side. This is the top of his head. And I just described it as like a little U shape or a rainbow line, right? And you can make this bigger if you want to. You can make it a little smaller, but I wouldn't go too much smaller than that. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to have the rainbow just kind of going back into, where that snail came out from. And I'm going to draw its antennas. And those aren't actually its antennas. These are actually its eyes, but they look like antennas. They're very unique animals in the sense that they can move these however they want and wherever they want to see things, because they're very slow moving, and they're very small. So they're really easy to get gobbled up by different predators. So they have adapted this really hard shell and these really cool eyes. Now, if you want to make it more realistic, you can. And I was actually just making a video. I was almost done with it. And what I did was I made the antennas down here go down, so I couldn't really make the face look right. So you can make this look realistic, okay, by leaving it like this. You can also kind of make this look a little bit more cartoony by, first of all, adding a second line to each of your eyes. They call those eye stalks. And then what you can do is you can add just another single line down here in a smaller circle. And what I really like to do, whether I'm drawing this realistically or not, is I love making these antennas down here. Now, what these are like its nose. It tastes things and it smells things with these antennas. And what I like to do with them is I like to make them look like a mustache because it's really funny. Why wouldn't I like to do that? And then if you want, you can make it really cartoony. So I'm going to finish this, come down here. And now this looks a little weird, but I'm okay with it because snails are kind of weird. And I'm going to take this down and I'm just going to extend it out a little bit. And then what I'm going to do, as soon as I'm just a little bit lower than our shell, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to add just a nice clean wave all across, like kind of stretched out too, right? And then what I do is I just turn the last wave, I hook it in like a candy cane, and I just come slowly and steady up to the shell, right? So he's kind of like stuck in here like that. But now what you can do is you can follow your bottom line. Okay. And you can also, speaking of making it cartoony, can make them like super happy. You can, I'm going to do like a tongue back here and like a row of teeth. And maybe I can add some eyebrows and a little dot. Now you could definitely redraw this. I've drawn this. Look how many times I've already drawn this, right? This is my one that I kind of messed up the mouth on. I tried to make it look like he was sticking out his tongue. That's okay. And then these are all the times I practiced it before to figure out the easiest way to do it. These things are not like I just sit down and make them in 2 seconds, friends. We have to practice everything we do, even if you're an art teacher. Okay. Now I like that he's kind of getting like sucked up into the shell here. And what I'm going to do to kind of add to that is I'm going to add some like details and spots to his body. Now, if you're a younger artist, you don't have to do this. It's okay. But if you're still following along and enjoying yourself, then why not, right? Just make them silly. And anywhere I can just see like the kind of skin or whatever it is of a snail, I'm just going to draw those spots to kind of give them that look. You got to be careful up on the face because if you make too many spots, like it might look like eyes. Like, see, that looks like eyes. So I'm going to kind of disguise that. Make that kind of go away. So these stand out more. What you can always do too is you can highlight the things you want to stand out and make them a little darker. All right, now you can add his little slime trail. Now, I'm also going to give you another option. So I'm actually just going to take the same piece of paper and I'm going to draw a super easy snail too. Like if you're a kindergartner and that one didn't come out super well, check this out. Same thing. Let's start with that diagonal line, rainbow line around, and in. Dot. Spiral from here. U-shaped line that connects. And now you can make your eyes. You can make your little antennas. And you just made a 1-minute snail. And maybe I'll make these antennas come out a little farther. You can make those tweaks at the end as you like. Okay, and I can even still give him a smile. And he's good, right? So we have 2 different ways to draw a snail. You can really deck it out and make it all cartoony. You can also just really make it simple, and you can practice this over and over again. Now, I am so obsessed with snails that I've been making them in my sculptures and things like that for a really long time. And I showed this in a prior video, but This is my little snail sculpture here, and I've been making this. Now, this is more of the style I was telling you about before. So the inside of all of this is actually tinfoil. And if I pull it apart a little bit, because it's not fired yet, if I pull it apart, you can see that there's like wires and things like that holding it together. And I know it's cracked, but it's really soft. I just press it together and I can blend it right in. So I made this, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to be able to have something come off the top of this, something decorative, or I was trying to buy little LED lights that would come out and almost like you could bend them and stuff. But I haven't been able to find those. So this has been sitting unfinished for a while. But I love mollusks and sea life and snails and crustaceans and things like that. Like Gary the Snail from SpongeBob. Who doesn't love Gary the Snail? So you can make this with tinfoil again. You can make this with Play-Doh. You can draw this week. You can really get creative in the ways that you create these animals. But again, I'm just missing school and I'm missing all my students, and I'd like to get back to the things that just make us happy. And every single year, my kindergartners love this project, and for years to come, all of my students ask me, Mr. Brown, can we make the snails again? So I figured this one time during quarantine, a fifth grader can make a snail if you want to. And a first grader, you can go on and you can do either project you want. Whatever grade you're in this week, just enjoy it. Try to enjoy the weather that we're getting and try to enjoy life a little bit, friends. I cannot wait to see you again next week. Thank you for tuning in and have an awesome day.